Well, it's time for me to press the bearings in now, but before I do, I heat both of the crankcases up to about 100 degrees in the oven, and I'll be doing that now. Well, there they are, safely in the oven. I'll set that for 45 minutes at 100 degrees, that should be enough. Well, I've got all the bearings in now, and they're spinning quite freely on there. And I've just put the timing side in, and that's okay. I'll just let the whole thing cool down now, and put the crankcases together, just to give them a trial, see if everything fits okay. Well, the main bearings have been fitted now, and it's spinning quite nicely with no tight spots anywhere, so I'm happy with that. So the next part of the job is to split the crankcases again. I need to fit all the cam paraphernalia, the cams, the cam followers, the tappet adjusters, and I'll probably put the head bolts in as well. So that's where we're at the moment, so I'll just press on with that now. But as you can see, it's spinning quite freely, and there are no noises and no tight spots. All brand new bearings in there now. Well, this is the idler pinion, which was actually badly worn and sloppy, so I pressed in a new bush, and I'm now going to bore it out to approximately 3/4 of an inch. It'll be a bit less than that, and I've got a reamer there to finish off to suit the shaft, and hopefully I'll improve on that. Well, I'm happy with that. It's a perfect fit actually, and it will run in a bit. Just got a tiny tight spot, but nothing much. I'll give it a polish and see what happens. Well, I've given it a light polish in the lathe there, and as you can see, that's a perfect fit now. Very happy with that. Alright, I'm continuing with somewhere to the crankcases, and I've done this, I think they call it the timing pinion, the idler pinion, and put a new bush in there, and it's been reamed out, and it's working fine. That's okay. But on the little platform where the Magneto goes, there's been some chatter over the years, and there's some dimples in the slides there. That one's not too bad. That's pretty bad. So is that. And that's not too bad. It's mainly the front ones there which is getting all the pressure. So I'm going to see if I can repair those. And I'm now going to decide which Magneto I'm going to fit. I'll show you those. Well, I've got 3 Lucas Magnetos. This is the one that came off the bike, and they've all got some issues, but this one, someone had replaced the pegs with some screws, the little screws there, and the screws are worn on the end. They're probably soft, and I think that's probably what's done the damage to the slots on the crankcases. This one's been fully restored, rewound armature, new bearings. The pegs are a bit grotty, so I'm going to replace those pegs, the 5/16. And this one has got some damage on the base plate. You can actually see quite a big recess there. The pegs look okay, but this needs to be skimmed now to get it back down to a flat surface, and obviously some new pegs, and then I'll probably have to make a shim to take up the amount I've taken off. These two are both slack advance, and this one's a tight advance, so I'm going to go with this one. It's been restored, it's sparking great, and it's a slack advance, which is what I'm looking for. So I'll be working on this one now. Well, this is the Magneto I'll be using. It's been fully restored and it's fine. And I've replaced the little locating pins in the bottom of the Magneto, and they'll fit into the recesses on the crankcases. They're slightly oversized actually to take up some of the play that was in the crankcase slot, so I'll show you that now. It's quite a nice fit onto the crankcases now. Well, I've done some work on this little base plate here on the crankcases, The slots were a little bit battered in places, but I've made some oversized pins which are fitted into the bottom of the Magneto, and as you can see, it's rock solid. When the straps go on, it'll be perfect. Also, I've checked the depth of the mesh on the drive, and there's a bit of clearance there. Looks okay, so that I'm happy with that. So I can take these crankcases apart now and build them back up for the final time. Well, these are the original head bolts off the bike, and as you can see, they're in pretty poor condition, where the spanner's been skidding around on the nuts there. So I'm going to make some new ones, and the head bolts are in two parts. You've got the part that goes into the crankcase, and then you have another part which goes into the cylinder head, and they're joined up that way. But on the head bolts you buy now, or the ones I bought recently, they've screwed and welded a little stud on the end of there, which becomes the stop in place of this is a BSA one which has actually been turned, and that's solid and it can't possibly come off. This one in particular did come off when I was tightening the head down, and that part fell into the crankcase, and there is a video out somewhere, I've done showing that, and I had to take the engine out of the bike to retrieve that part from the bottom of the crankcases. But anyway, that's what I plan to do now. So I've got the 4 parts that go into the crankcases, and I'm now going to make the 4 long studs that go into the cylinder head. Well, I had a comment on the last video I posted about annealing the copper washers, and I've decided to do a little test. Some say you should quench it in cold water and others don't, so these are pretty stiff actually. I probably could bend them if I pushed hard enough. So I'm going to anneal both of them, one the way I do it and one the way this guy recommended, which is to quench in the cold water. So I'll do that now. Well, this is the one that I quenched in the cold water, and as you can see, it's quite soft. And when that one's cooled down, I'll check that one as well. And this is the one that I just let cool naturally, no hot, no cold water. And that is every bit as good as that one as regards bending. In fact, it's a bit softer, definitely a bit softer. So there you go, either way seems to work.